to the sun with me, so I can show you something you've never seen. And both you and I shouldn't be too shy by letting go for once. Come and be free with me.
Well, it's time to leave the high plains of Montana, the northeastern part over Glasgow, and head over west to where I grew up and graduated high school. Well, we got done visiting my brother, northeastern part of Montana. She said she wanted to see a little bit more of Montana before we headed south for the winter. I couldn't wait soon enough to get south. I know what it's like in Montana. It gets cold. Wind blows on the northeastern side, even the southeastern side. Hell, even from the Rockies down all the way over to the other part of the United States. It blows like crazy. So I said, all right, let's load up and we'll head over through my hometown, where my dad says, I wasn't born there. A bird flew over, crapped me out on a fence post, and the sun hatched me. I'll live with that. Now, we all know that it was a joke. But, so we headed through Livingston, headed up over the Rockies, over towards Missoula. Now, I say Missoula because nobody knows where Philipsburg, or P-burg, as we all called it, is. And that's where I graduated high school. So I took her over and dropped her into the town there. And now you want to talk about a western town. It's a pretty cool place. I hadn't been back there for, I think 2006 was the last time I was there. And it kind of became a tourist attraction now. I mean, you want to see a western town, if they didn't have asphalt on the street, well, it looks pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little town, known for its mining, sapphires. Quite a bit of ranching goes on there too. So we got a place there in town, just on the west side of it, and stayed there for a couple of days. I took her out to where my dad worked on the ranch. It was East Fork. They had the Middle Fork, and he was on the East Fork. The Middle Fork was the main ranch. And you guys wonder why I don't like walking? Look at the terrain. Straight up. There's a few flat parts on it, but not much. But that's where I spent from about, 1980 until 1986 in that part of the country, right at the Rockies. Fishing's great. And I know some of you people may not enjoy hearing it, but hunting. I'm a hunter. I like to hunt. Did a lot of hunting there. Dad always said, I don't know what you boys are going to bring home next. Well, as long as we could eat it, we ate it. And we hunted it. So I couldn't go down into the area that my dad worked because I don't know who owns it now. So we just stood up on the hill and took some pictures of it. And that whole bottom used to be full of cows. We'd calve during the winter season. And feed. I don't know how many times we'd go back to that haystack and load that wagon and go down there and throw out hay bales for cows. My dad wasn't one for machinery. He always said, you can take a horse more places than you can a tractor. So, our work was done with team draft horses. We'd hook them up every day in the wintertime to go feed. We had a pair of black ones. My favorite, they were named Mike and Ike. Y'all might remember me talking about Mike and Ike will take you. Well, I consider myself, my legs Mike and Ike. We're always walking, so are they. We had Doc and Duke. Doc and Duke was our main horses that we used, draft horses that we used. And we'd run them up and get them all harnessed, hook them to it was either a sled or a wagon, depending on what my dad wanted to use, I guess. We had a sled and we had a wagon, one with wheels. The sled had skids on it. We'd go load it up and feed the cows. During the summertime, we would fence. If we were there, I was mostly gone during the summer, doing summer jobs. I don't know what it is, but working for Dad and working for somebody else, well, I got paid working for somebody else. Dad said he didn't need to pay us. We were eating his food, sleeping under his roof, so no need to get paid. So we never got paid working for Dad. And I was always gone during the summer, like I said. Over at the main ranch, I worked there one summer. I worked there over at the main ranch and irrigated, milked a cow. Plural. They had two of them over there. We had one over at our place. Every morning, 6 o'clock, the cow had to be milked. Chores had to be done. Before we ate, they ate. Dad's motto, get up, get your chores done. Get the wood in the house. get the chores done. Garbage dump, cow milk. We'd go to school and him and Mom would feed during the weekdays. And if we weren't in sports, we were helping Dad out. Feeding, calving. Anyway, enough said about that. So I took her up into the lake that was called the East Fork. That's the reservoir that we lived under, and they just called it the East Fork Reservoir, and where we lived, they called that East Fork, if I'm making any sense to y'all. Took her up there, showed her the lake. Never did go fishing in that lake. Never did. And then took her over to Middle Fork, over at the main ranch, and showed her that. And then we dropped over into Rock Creek, where my brother and his wife live. Beautiful country back there. It's in a valley. One side of them just sheer cliff, and the bighorn sheep, you can hear them fighting during mating season. Sounds pretty cool in that canyon. But anyway, we spent an evening there and went back into the town to the house and went to bed and got up the next morning, and we noticed that the snow had started creeping down the hill a little bit. Well, I ain't much on shoveling snow, so we packed up and headed south. Hey everyone, thanks for hanging out with us and going through a little bit of what I went through growing up. Not all was seen, but a lot was done as a kid. Join us next time as we head east to Deer Lodge, Montana, and we get in a little bit of trouble with the law and go to prison.